Good morning, dear students. I am here again for our chapter 4, transpiration. So, in the previous lecture, we studied the various factors affecting the rate of transpiration. So, the various factors that has been categorized into external factors and internal factors. External factors are nothing but the environmental factors that comprises temperature, light, atmospheric humidity, atmospheric pressure, wind velocity, some internal factors like the size of leaves, number and size of stomata. So these are the various factors that affecting the rate of transpiration. So these factors we seen in the previous lecture. Similarly, we studied the significance of transpiration. So transpiration having importance in the life of the plant. It is responsible for the transportation of the water and minerals throughout the plant body. It increases the rapidity of the water flow. It forms a continuous water stream from root to the shoot of the plant. So these are the various significance of the transpiration that we seen in detail in last lecture. Now in this lecture I am going to start our next point, anti-transpirants. So this word anti, so any substance or a chemical which when works against transpiration, then it is called as anti-transpirants. Anti means against. So very often water becomes a limiting factor for crop production in agriculture, and at the same time 99% of absorbed water is lost by plants through transpiration. But this large amount of water loss can be retarded or reduced by the application of some substances, some chemicals to the plants. These substances are called anti-transpirants or transpiration suppressants, as they reduce, suppress transpiration in plants. So about 99% of water loss has been carried out by the process of transpiration, and in many areas the water becomes a limiting factor for crop production in agriculture. So under such condition this large amount of water loss can be reduced or retarded by the application of some substances, some chemicals to the plant, and these substances are called as anti-transpirants or transpiration suppressants because they reduce transpiration in plants. So by definition, anti-transpirants are chemicals which when applied to plants reduce or retard transpiration. The term anti-transparent is used to designate any material or a substance applied to plants for the purpose of retarding or reducing transpiration in plants. So anti-transparents are the chemicals which when applied to the plant reduce or retard transpiration. These are called as the anti-transparent, or we can say anti-transparent are any material or a substance when applied to plant for the purpose of retarding or reducing transpiration in plant. So these words are important, retarding or reducing. You do not stop the transpiration because transpiration is necessary for the growth and development of the plant. It reduce or retard the transpiration. These are called as anti-transpirants. There are some examples of the anti-transparents. So anti-transparents are used in the agriculture to reduce the water loss. So anti-transparents are divided into two groups on the basis of their mode of action. So they are divided into the two groups or into two categories on the basis of their mode of action. So the first one group first, this group includes low viscosity waxes, colorless plastics and silicone oils. So this material when sprayed on the crop plant or on the leaves, they form a thin film on the leaf surface. The thin film prevents transpiration from leaf and allows the diffusion of CO2 and O2 from the atmosphere into the leaf. The main function of the stomata is exchange of gases, that is CO2 and O2. So transpiration takes place through the stomata, that transpiration we called it as stomatal transpiration. So to reduce the transpiration, we have to spread certain chemical compounds on the lip surface on which the stomata has been present. It forms a thin film and prevent transpiration from lip and allows the diffusion of CO2 and O2 from the atmosphere into the lip. So the usual function of the stomata, that is the exchange of O2 and CO2, has to be carried out, and at the same time it reduces the loss of water through the stomata. So the group first chemical includes low viscosity waxes, colorless plastics and silicone oils. And when these chemicals are sprayed, they form a thin film on the lip surface. This thin film prevents transpiration from lip and allows the diffusion of CO2 and O2 from the atmosphere into the lip. So this is the group first chemicals work as anti-transpirants. The second one group is the group second. This group includes stomata closing chemicals such as fungicides, namely phenyl mercuric acetate, in short PMA, plant growth regulators like abscisic acid, ABA. They do not form any film on lip surface like group first chemicals. They partially close the stomata. These groups include stomata closing chemicals. They close the stomata partially. So this partial closure of stomata reduces the water loss through the lip surface or through the stomata. So group second includes stomata closing chemicals such as fungicides and plant growth regulator. They do not form any film on the lip surface like the group first chemicals. So for example, a fungicide PMA, phenyl mercuric acetate, when applied in low concentration, it results in the partial closure of stomata for 2 weeks with little toxic effect on leaves. So the fungicide PMA, which belongs to the group second chemicals, when applied to the crop plant, it results in the partial closure of stomata for 2 weeks with very little toxic effects on the leaves. Similarly, when abscisic acid, it is the one of the plant growth regulator, is applied, it brings about partial stomatal closure for a few hours. Next to this is the carbon dioxide can act effectively as an anti-transpirant when its natural concentration of 0.03% is raised to 0.05%. It induces the partial closure of stomata. So the group second chemical includes those chemicals which are responsible for the partial closure of the stomata. It do not form a thin film. Only the group first chemical form a thin film on the lip surface. It this film prevents transpiration from the lip surface and at the same time allows the diffusion of CO2 and O2 from the atmosphere into the lip. While the group second chemicals are responsible for the partial closure of the stomata. These chemicals includes fungicides, namely phenyl mercuric acetate, plant growth regulator like abscisic acid. So these are the examples of anti-transpirant. Recently, aspirin and salicylic acid have been used as anti-transpirant. However, some of the anti-transpirants have limitations while using them, as in some cases. They affect the metabolism and act as inhibitors. They reduce or retard transpiration, but at the same time they cause obstructions in the photosynthesis and respiration by restricting gaseous exchange in leaves from the atmosphere. Because you know that large amount of water loss has been takes place through the stomata, through the stomatal transpiration, but at the same time stomata perform the function of exchange of gases O2 and CO2 required for the process of photosynthesis and respiration. Here we are using various anti-transpirant to reduce or retard the transpiration process or to reduce or retard the loss of water takes place through the stomata. So while doing so, these anti-transparent retard or reduce transpiration, but at the same time they cause obstruction in the exchange of O2 and CO2 in the leaves that has been required for photosynthesis and respiration. So for this, the ideal anti-transparents should have the following features. They should be non-toxic to the plant. They should not cause permanent damage to the stomatal apparatus. Their effect should be specifically on guard cells and not on the other cells. The anti-transparent chemicals should be cheap and easily available in the market. They should not cause any side effect or pollution. So the ideal anti-transparents are those which are non-toxic to the plant. They do not cause permanent damage to the stomatal apparatus, because stomata are required for the exchange of O2 and CO2 required during the process of photosynthesis and respiration. So anti-transparent, because this ideal anti-transparent does not cause any permanent damage to the stomatal apparatus. Their effect should be specifically on the guard cell, because the opening and the closing of stomata has been governed by the turgidity of the guard cell. So their effect should be specifically on the guard cell, not on the other cell. The anti-transparent chemical should be cheap and easily available in the market, so then the farmers can be use it on the agriculture crops. They should not cause any side effects or pollution. So these are the essential features of the ideal anti-transparents. Next to this is the applications of anti-transparents. So anti-transparents has been used by the farmer in agriculture. So the first one application is the field crops. In places facing water scarcity, field crop productivity can be increased by spraying anti-transparent. So in those area where there is a scarcity of water, so water becomes a limiting factor in such cases. So the crop productivity can be increased by reducing the water loss. So this has been done by spraying the anti-transparent on the crop plants. So during drought condition, anti-transparent will save the crops from damage due to the water loss. So in crop fields, so various crops can be saved by spraying it with a anti-transparent, and during drought condition the anti-transparent was found to be important, or they plays an important role for saving the crops from damage due to water loss. Second thing is the transport of fruit plants. When seedlings of fruit trees are to be transported to long distances, anti-transparents are useful, because transpiration damages the young roots of the seedlings. So this is the case where the seedlings of the fruit trees are transported to the long distances. So under such conditions, these anti-transparents are useful to avoid damage to the young roots of the seedlings. So the saplings and seedlings will remain fresh and healthy when they are sprayed with the anti-transparent, and the mortality rate will be less. Next thing is the fruit cracks. So anti-transparent prevent cracking of several fruits, because they reduce absorption of water by fruits during rainfall. So when anti-transparents are sprayed on the fruits, they reduce absorption of water also by the fruits during rainfall. Thus they save the fruits from cracking. So when the fruits absorb the excess water to cope up the space in the fruits having certain cracks. So to save the fruits from cracking, the anti-transparents are useful to reduce the absorption of water by the fruits during rainfall. The yield and quality of fruit will not be affected when the anti-transparents are sprayed on the fruits. So anti-transparent prevent cracking of several fruits, because they reduce the absorption of water by fruits during rainfall. Fourth one, application ornamental plants. Some anti-transparent form a thin film on the surface of leaves. So these anti-transparent belong to the group first which form a thin film on the leaf surface. Such anti-transparents are used to save the ornamental plants from desiccation. So in this case, to save the ornamental plants from desiccation, those anti-transparents are used which form a thin film on the leaf surface. The flowers and foliage of such ornamental plants will remain fresh for longer days if sprayed with anti-transparents, especially during blowing season. So they remain fresh for long time. This will increase the wash life of the flowers. So for the flower show, these anti-transparents are useful to keep the foliage and the flowers fresh for long time, and it also increase the wash life of the flowers. Next one application, keeping flowers fresh. Anti-transparent can be sprayed on plucked flowers to keep them fresh for a long time. This will increase the wash life of flowers. So anti-transparent when sprayed on the flowers, it keep the flowers fresh for a longer period of time. So it will increase the wash life of the flowers. Last one application, lawn development. Anti-transparents are often sprayed on lawns to save the grasses from drying. When there is scarcity of water or owner is on tour for a long time and watering will not be possible, so under such condition anti-transparents are often sprayed on the lawns to save the grasses from drying. So these are the applications of anti-transparent. The first one, in case of field crops, so in places where there is a scarcity of water, the field crops can be saved by spraying it with anti-transparent. So during drought condition, anti-transparent will save the crops from damage due to water loss. Second thing, when the seedlings of the fruit trees are to be transported for a longer distances, anti-transparents are useful because transpiration damages the young roots of the seedlings. So the saplings and the seedlings will remain fresh and healthy, and also the mortality rate will be less. Next application, anti-transparent prevent the cracking of fruits because they reduce the absorption of water by fruits during rainfall. In case of ornamental plants, so those anti-transparents belong to the group first, form a thin film on the surface of leaves, are sprayed on the ornamental plants, so it saves the ornamental plants from desiccation, and the flowers and foliage will remain fresh for longer days if they are sprayed with the anti-transparents. Next, the keeping the flowers fresh. So to keep the plucked flowers fresh for a longer period of time, these are sprayed with the anti-transparents. Next, in the lawn development, so when there is a scarcity of water or owner is on tour for a long time and watering will not be possible, so under such condition anti-transparents are often sprayed on the lawns to save the grasses from drying. So these are the applications of anti-transparents. So anti-transparents are those chemicals when sprayed on the crop plant, they reduce or retard the transpiration. So it save the crop plants from drying during drought condition. So anti-transparents are chemicals which when applied to plants retard or reduce transpiration. There are two examples of the anti-transparent. The anti-transparents are divided into two groups on the basis of their mode of action. For the group first mode of action, they form a thin film on the leaf surface, and for group second mode of action is it partially close the stomata. So group first chemicals involves low viscosity waxes, colorless plastics and silicone oils. They form a thin film on the leaf surface and it prevents the transpiration from leaf, but at the same time allows the diffusion of O2 and CO2 from the atmosphere into the leaf. While the group second chemicals are the stomata closing chemicals such as fungicide, PMA, phenyl mercuric acetate, plant growth regulator like ABA, abscisic acid. They do not form a thin film but partially close the stomata for a short period of time. And there are certain applications of anti-transparent like in field crops, transport of fruit plants, fruit cracks, ornamental plants, keeping flower fresh, and in lawn development. So this is about the anti-transparent and their applications in the crop field. So this is about anti-transparent. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe.